Marcus Williams had built his success brick by brick, starting from nothing but determination and a dream. At 42, he owned 3 luxury hotels across the state, but today wasn't about business. Today was about being a father. His daughter Amara, just turned 8, sat beside him in the lobby of the Grand Sterling Hotel, his newest property. She clutched her teddy bear tightly, her braided hair adorned with colorful beads that clicked softly as she looked around with wide eyes. "Daddy, it's so pretty here," she whispered. Marcus smiled, his hand resting gently on her shoulder. He'd been away for 2 weeks managing the opening of another hotel, and he'd promised Amara a special weekend, just the 2 of them. No nannies, no business calls, just father and daughter time. The lobby gleamed with marble floors and crystal chandeliers. Marcus had poured his heart into this place, ensuring every detail spoke of elegance and warmth. He approached the reception desk where 2 young women stood in crisp navy suits. "Good afternoon," Marcus said warmly. "I have a reservation under Williams." The receptionist on the left, whose name tag read Elena, barely glanced up from her computer. Her colleague Sarah stood beside her, arms crossed, both wearing expressions that seemed carved from stone. "Williams." Elena's fingers moved slowly across the keyboard. "I'm not seeing anything." Marcus felt a familiar tightness in his chest but kept his voice steady. "It should be the executive suite. I called last week to confirm." Sarah's eyes traveled from Marcus's casual polo shirt and khaki pants to Amara's sneakers and backpack. Her lip curled slightly. "Sir, I think there's been some confusion. This is a 5-star establishment. Perhaps you meant to book somewhere else." The words hung in the air like smoke. Amara pressed closer to her father's side. Marcus took a slow breath, remembering his own father's words from long ago. "Son, how you respond to disrespect says more about you than them." "There's no confusion," he replied calmly. "I made the reservation myself. Could you check again, please?" Elena exchanged a look with Sarah, one that spoke volumes. It was a look Marcus had seen too many times in his life, a look that measured him and found him wanting based on nothing but the color of his skin and his casual clothes. "Sir," Sarah said, her voice dripping with false politeness, "even if we did have a reservation, I'm afraid we're fully booked. Perhaps the Comfort Inn down the street would be more suitable." Amara tugged on Marcus's hand. "Daddy." Her voice was small, confused. Marcus knelt down to his daughter's level, his heart breaking at the confusion in her eyes. "It's okay, sweetheart. Just give Daddy a minute." He stood back up, his jaw set but his voice still controlled. "I'd like to speak with your manager, please." "The manager is very busy," Elena said dismissively. "Like I said, we have no rooms available." What they didn't know, what they couldn't see past their assumptions, was that Marcus Williams wasn't just any guest. He was the owner. He'd purposely kept a low profile during the hotel's opening, wanting his staff to develop their own rhythm without the owner hovering over them. His general manager knew him, but he was away at a conference. Marcus pulled out his phone. One call would fix everything, but as he looked at his daughter's face, he realized this was about something bigger. This was a teaching moment, not just for these 2 young women, but for Amara too. "You know what," Marcus said quietly, "let me try something different." He pulled out his wallet and handed over his credit card and driver's license. "Please, just check one more time." Sarah took the cards with obvious reluctance. As she looked at the name on the credit card, her face went pale. Her hands started trembling slightly. "Is something wrong?" Marcus asked, his voice still gentle but with an edge of steel. Elena leaned over to look at the computer screen, and the color drained from her face too. They were staring at the name, Marcus J. Williams, the same name that was on every single employee contract, every paycheck, every piece of letterhead in the building. "Mr. Williams," Sarah stammered, we didn't." "Didn't what?" Marcus asked. "Didn't expect the owner to be black. Didn't think someone in casual clothes could afford to stay here. Or didn't think you needed to treat every guest with basic respect." The lobby had gone quiet. Other guests were watching now, sensing the shift in atmosphere. Marcus wasn't angry, he was disappointed, and somehow that was worse. "I built this hotel on the principle that everyone deserves dignity. Everyone. Whether they're wearing a suit or work clothes, whether they're black or white, rich or struggling, every single person who walks through those doors deserves to be treated with respect." Tears were streaming down Elena's face now. "Sir, I'm so sorry. Please, Marcus held up his hand gently. I need you both to understand something. My father was a janitor. He cleaned office buildings at night so I could have a chance at a better life. He wore work clothes covered in cleaning solution, and people looked at him the way you just looked at me and my daughter. But he had more dignity in his little finger than many of the executives whose trash he emptied. He pulled Amara close. I want my daughter to grow up in a world where she's judged by her character, not her appearance. Where kindness matters more than clothes or color. Sarah was openly crying now. Mr. Williams, please, is there anything we can do? Marcus paused, looking at both of them. He could fire them right now, and part of him wanted to. But he thought about redemption, about second chances, about the grace his father had always shown even when he didn't receive it in return. Yes, he said finally. You can learn from this. You can remember how this felt and make sure you never make another person feel this way. You can look at every guest who comes through the door and see a human being worthy of respect. He picked up his daughter. Come on, sweetie. Let's go up to our room. Wait, Elena said desperately. Your key cards, sir. Marcus turned back. Thank you. And Elena. Sarah. I'm not going to fire you today. But I am going to have a long conversation with you both tomorrow about what it means to work here. This hotel stands for something. We all need to remember that. As the elevator doors closed on Marcus and Amara, he heard Sarah whisper to Elena, we almost lost everything because we couldn't see past our own prejudices. Upstairs in the executive suite, Marcus sat with Amara by the window overlooking the city lights. Daddy, why were those ladies so mean? Amara asked. Marcus chose his words carefully. Sometimes, baby girl, people make judgments about others without knowing anything about them. They see what someone looks like on the outside and think they know everything about who they are inside. But that's not fair, Amara said. No, it's not. But you know what? We get to choose how we respond. We can respond with anger, or we can respond with grace and hope that people will learn and grow. Is that why you didn't yell at them? Marcus smiled and kissed his daughter's forehead. Exactly. Because being a good person isn't about how others treat you. It's about how you treat others, even when it's hard. The next morning, Marcus met with Elena and Sarah in his office. They were terrified, expecting termination. Instead, he spent 2 hours talking with them about unconscious bias, about the experiences of people who don't look like them, about how privilege can blind us to the struggles of others. By the end, both women weren't just apologizing, they were understanding. They were changed. 6 months later, Elena would start a diversity training program for all hotel staff. Sarah would volunteer with youth programs in underserved communities, teaching hospitality skills. And Amara would remember the day her father taught her that strength isn't about power, it's about grace. Marcus Williams had built a hotel empire, but his greatest construction was the lesson he built in his daughter's heart, that true worth isn't measured by wealth or status, but by how we treat others when they can do nothing for us in return. That's what it means to be truly rich.